RPG. Of course, life got in the way, and I've skipped a day with the Crimson Helm Rider, so hopefully that doesn't restart it. If it does, well, you know, it is what it is. I knew it was going to be difficulty trying to keep up with that, because I just get distracted and days go by and you just don't even think about it, you know? So it's unfortunate, but we're gonna give it a go and see how it's going. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out and joining me. Let's just go. So let's leave our castle. We could buy some upgrades while we're here. Hey, I'm in rank 67. Woo woo. Hey, candles. Let's just improve my upgrades. Let's do this one. A garden ivy, which is delicious. And our huntsman, because we want better food on the table, right? Right. All right. I'm gonna save. See, it's been 2 days. I've skipped a day. I didn't mean to. But just the day went by and it was over. And like, what was I supposed to do? I don't know. All right. Let's leave. Let's travel to southern. Yes, Longspur Downs. Let's do some exploration. Explore the downs. Cast the stone. Yep, it's back to 1, so I think it started over. I mean, I'm sorry. Click combat. Yep, my horn's low the difficulty. I love the horn. Alright. It started over. I just, these things we have to do every day, it's difficult for me. Fortunately, I'm just living a busy life right now, and I don't know why. I mean, I know why. Someone was telling me about the Hollow Stone in my comments. You have to clear random encounters, but I didn't see random encounters there. Supposed to spirit. He wants the disc. We gotta fight stone sentries. Wow. That thing's rough. Whoop at me. Risen. Alright, these have to fight. I need my restoration to go ahead. Back down this way, thank you. I don't remember how this goes. We're getting killed, that's what I know. Yay, rejuvenation. Got it. Appreciate it. What do we do for precious? He's gonna want to fight. Kill. Oh, nah. We're doing good, it's fine. It's fine. He's gonna revive. Yay, more rejuvenation. So I need to fight these stone things. And he gets back up. And he gets back up. It looks like it's getting easier. So that's good. I've had 2 rejuvenations come through, which I appreciate. Kill. Build your own. Fight. People were telling me how to get rolls of 20 in a row. I mean, that'd be cool, but will it go any faster, really? I don't know that it would. Let's fight this guy. Do we get the bronze thing yet? Is this gonna give me the bronze disc? Yeah, it is. The bone disc, that's what it is. The bone disc. We gotta fight these guys every time. We gotta come give this thing to the spirit, and then we're gonna go down the stairs. We're gonna look about for this guy's weapons and stuff. Suddenly, we got another stone guardian that's gonna get his butt back up, probably. Oh, he didn't. Interesting. Take the helm. Yeah, I missed one. Take the shield. Disappears. Alright, give me the other thing. Take the sword. Let's go back upstairs. Yeah, alright. And then examine the remains. Suddenly? The unnerving quiet swiftly falls over the whole stone. I've cleared whole of stone, yay! After time, well, okay. I mean, do I want to come back and clear it? Not really. Nothing happened here. It's an interesting ghost. No, I don't want to descend the stairs. I want to go back. I want to go up the stairs. We want to go up this way and climb the stairs. Cool. Sure. What else is going on here? We've been to Edmark. We've done the quest here. It's in the ruins of Stone Gap. There's an adventure here. Destroyed during a goblin raid nearly 2 centuries ago, the town of Stone Gap has never been rebuilt. The long deserted settlement situated on the eastern shore of Lake Ebrick was once home to small but powerful conclave of wizards known as the Gate Wardens. Only heaps of rubble and debris scattered amongst the foliage of the encroaching forest remains a mark where Stone Gap's building once stood. What's the adventures? Leaving Stone Gap. It's early afternoon and you're on your way out of Stone Gap. Okay, is there going to be a problem leaving the Stone Gap? Let's see. While hurriedly passing through the outskirts of Stone Gap, not about to tarry in the eerie... How's my hair look? Because I know it's all over the place. Eerie ruins of the long deserted town, you happen upon a curious scene. Moving slowly towards you along the same stretch of road that will carry you past the ruins is a young man. His back bent beneath what appears to be a tremendous load contained within a leather pack. The lanky stranger looks up as he draws near, but his expressionless face bears not even the faintest hint of emotion. And suddenly, your heart leaps into your throat when the flesh suddenly slithers off the young man's face, leaving behind only a grim, leering visage carved out of a stark white bone. As you stand almost frozen in place, stunned by the gruesome transformation, a strange feeling washes over you, and only lasts for a few moments, but leaves you feeling drained. He's drained my Neville. Or did that happen to me on its own? The skeleton straightens up, allowing the pack to slide off his back and onto the ground, hisses softly. The undead fiend draws his sword and lunges at you. Death to the heathen. Within the final ragged hiss rising into the air, the skeleton collapses into a heap of splintered bones. You step back from the remains of the undead menace and exhale sharply, quickly surveying your surroundings. You determine, much to your relief, that nothing else seems to be stirring amidst the overgrown ruins of Stone Gap. You open the pack your foe was carrying and are surprised to find that it contains only rock and dirt. Then you hear it. The sound of movement from the nearby forest reaches your ears. Cautiously, with your every sense alert, you move in what you believe to be the direction from which the sound is coming. As you near the large, overgrown heap of rubble near the forest edge, you suddenly spot 3 figures lurking beneath the trees. The rag-clad trio, their backs to you, appear to be digging a hole next to the base of a towering oak. 2 of the 3 figures are using shovels, while the third, whose bearded face you now plainly see, is leaning against the tree, peering down into the hole. They appear to be human. The encounter with the skeleton reminds you that appearance can most certainly be deceiving. Yes, let's hit divination. You channel your power of divination, and immediately overwhelmed by a powerful sense of evil, you quickly discern that the malevolent energy you detected is centered upon the ragged trio. I've lost more Neville points. Observe them some more. Standing at the edge of the forest, you continue to watch the 3 figures. They toil away at the base of the tree. Suddenly, the 2 digging figures cast their shovels aside and kneel at the edge of the hole. One of them, his human face now clearly visible, reaches down and retrieves what appears to be a small wooden box. Places the box into a cloth sack, and then, upon regaining his feet, he and the 2 cohorts turn and start to head in your direction. You realize it's only a matter of moments before you discovered. Meet him. You move boldly toward the trio, calling out a friendly greeting as you draw into a few yards. Within just a few yards, the instant the gaze of the 3 men meet your own, you realize something is terribly wrong. The pulse quickens as the flesh melts off the face of the men, leaving behind only the grim-boned visages of the risen dead. Hissing wildly, the trio of skeletons draw weapons as they swiftly close in around you, making escape an impossibility. With no recourse but to valiantly hold your ground, you truly position yourself to be able to face the encroaching undead one at a time. Masterful slash, nice. My blade's good against undead. Yeah, it is. Stepping back from the scattered bones of your feet, you wipe away the sweat streaking down your brow and warily survey your surroundings. Thankfully, there doesn't appear to be anything else stirring in the immediate vicinity. Continue. Suddenly, the sound of something moving up from behind you sets your every nerve on edge. Spinning face what is distinctly perceived to be an encroaching threat, only to have your eyes greeted by an empty forest scene. Of course. Your ground line is something small but heavy drops into your back. Before you can throw off whatever it is, a thick length of coarse rope slides around your neck and it pulls tightly by a pair of rugged grey-skinned clawed hands. The rope tightens, cruelly biting your flesh as it crushes your throat. I'm about to die here. As you struggle against the savage might of your unknown assailant, the rope again tightens around your neck, making it impossible for you to draw a single breath. You manage to work your hands between the rope and your neck, then only seconds before blacking out, you suddenly lean forward, catapulting your attacker into the nearby undergrowth. Casting aside the rope, you stand with your hands on your knees, gasping for breath. You watch a bulky, hide-clad cave goblin scramble to its feet, amidst the foliage into which it was hurled. Apparently devoid of any desire to fairly engage you, the goblin turns and bolts, bounding off through the forest pace you can hardly be hard-pressed to match. The large creature will soon be out of sight. Now, you don't choke me and get away. Catch him. Catch him! Yay. Despite his incredible prowess at navigating the difficult terrain, you manage to overtake the goblin. Lunging at him from behind, you wrap your arms around his waist and drag the startled creature to the ground, where he frantically squirms and desperate bid to slip from your grasp. You struggle to control and subdue the thrashing goblin, all the while remaining mindful of his teeth and claws. While holding down the struggling goblin, you hurriedly determine how you will attempt to glean some information from him. Demand an explanation. Don't do more than just put him to the ground. You demand to know what he was doing in the vicinity of the digging skeletons and why he attacked you. Let's hear it. Your efforts to try and get the goblin talk pay off. That's perhaps worn down by your persistence and maybe having come to realization of precariousness of his situation. The foul creature seems ready to talk. Slowly, as if each syllable he mutters is some sort of punishable offense, he begins to tell you what you want to know. Okay, let's hear it. The cave goblin, speaking in short, breathless bursts, tells you that he was watching over the skeletons that were digging the base of the tree. You also learn that he's an employee of a necromancer whose name he claims he is unable to divulge. When you press him on the spellcaster's name, he tells you that he does not know it. Master keeps many secrets, he grumbles, his cruel eyes fixing with an icy glare. He controls the dead to do his bidding. He sent them there to find something that was buried. You ask the goblin if the wooden box you saw the skeleton on earth is what's being sought. He immediately shakes his head and says he doesn't know. Only the master's risen dead know what it is, he says. And I only had to make sure they stuck to the task. When several inquiries are met with silence, it becomes obvious the goblin no longer wishes to furnish you with further information. The question seemed to cause the goblin some degree of distress. He briefly closes his eyes and winces as if suddenly overcome with a pang of guilt. He then proceeds to tell you that he was ordered to make certain no one interfered with the search. Master has many enemies, he says, his eyes slowly creeping him. Master has many enemies who would do him harm and ruin his plans. I would not take a chance. You may yet prove to be one of Master's foes. Realizing that you're not likely to get anything further out of him, you hurriedly decide your next course of action. Kill him. As you move to strike the goblin, we can't just let goblins roam around, especially ones who've tried to kill me. Only a split second before the goblin is about to slip from your grasp, you land a savage blow to the top of his head that splits open his skull, killing him instantly. As a cruel humanoid life this body goes limp, you stand up and look down no small measure of disdain at his remains. Keep the stuff. Hey, 22 gold. Confident you haven't overlooked anything, you take one last look at the remains, which you make your way back toward the road. As you retrace your steps, you gather forest and back toward the road, you come upon the remains of the skeletons you defeated. They're lying in the ground amidst the heaps of shattered bones is a cloth sack, which you saw the disguised undead placed in a small wooden box. You take possession of the sack and discover it does indeed contain a small wooden box. After setting the box for several moments, you carefully remove its lid. The box contained a triangular black gem. The glittering stone, no bigger than your thumbnail, quivers slightly every now and then. You channel the power of divination and immediately sense the faint aura of evil surrounding the gem. The small gemstone quivers slightly. I mean, it's evil. I don't want to leave it here, but I don't want it on me. We just leave it, huh? Make way to the forest and soon again standing on the road that passes through the outskirts of Stone Gap. A wary survey in both directions along the desolate stretch seems to confirm that you are thankfully alone. With no desire to linger here, you prepare at once to set out in the ruined town, eager to put this recent and unsettling turn of events out of mind, at least for now. I mean, could have put it somewhere else where you wouldn't know it where it was. Alright, that's 15 minutes into this episode. Let's see what else we got. I think we're done in the northeast. Oh, there's the Dawnwind Vale. Let's check it out. How's my horse doing? Could use some tending to. Pinned. Likes me yet? No, he does not. In the tangled heart of Dawnwind Vale, at the split of a well-beaten path, the imposing rock known as Ferendrans Finger juts up through the ground like a claw of massive beast, tearing itself out of the earth. According to the legend, the master huntsman Ferendrid once felled a marauding forest dragon at the site of this towering pinnacle of stone, with a single arrow launched from his fabled bow. A plaque affixed to the base of the rock makes mention of the legend and also points the way to the nearby monuments. Of Turlock and southeast to the monument. Okay. Also points the way to nearby monuments of two of the age's most illustrious adventurers, Turlock and Gradaculo. What does that mean? The path divides around Ferendrans Finger and continues northwest to the monument of Turlock and southwest to the monument of Gradaculo. Yes, examine the finger. On the backside of the towering pinnacle of rock, partially obscured by the tangled brush that's grown up against the stone base, you discover a curious engraving in the shape of a bow. Suddenly, Ferendrans Fury begins to quiver. You draw Ferendrans Fury. Oh yeah, I do have Ferendrans bow. And hold it toward the carving. A dazzling silver glow erupts from the carving at the base of the rock. As the bow begins to tremble in your hands, the glow fades and trembles cause a vicious snarl explodes out of the brush to your right. So yeah, I have Ferendrans Fury. What is it? You spin in the direction of the sound and find a massive phantasmal wolf bounding at you through the undergrowth. Nearly blinded by the entity's silvery aura, you instinctively draw your bow and take aim at the ghostly creature. The arrow streaks through the head of the apparitional wolf and embeds itself in the leaf-covered earth. The phantasmal creature suddenly draws to a halt and sinks to the ground, where it curls itself into a tight ball before suddenly vanishing. The instant the wolf disappeared, a savage growl erupts from behind you. Turn in the direction of the bellow and find a glowing phantasmal ogre dashing through the bush, its massive hand gripping a heavy wooden club. You rapidly notch an arrow and draw your bow, taking aim at the hulking menace. Your feathered shell screams through the air, passes through the ogre's upper torso, causing the phantasmal creature to grimace and flinch. After several more steps in your direction, the hulking terror collapses into the heap before suddenly vanishing. The instant the last glowing vestiges of the ogre disappear, a deafening bellow erupts from behind you, and it's a fearsome reverberance rattling your bones. Spin your heels and behold a sight that makes your blood run cold. Soaring down at the skies, a phantasmal form passing directly through bow and limb, and is the glowing apparition of the massive forest troll. The fearsome creature, its cavernous jaws stretched wide, unleashes a second roar and displays wide its deadly foreclaws as it bears down on you from above. In a single fluid action, you draw your bow and loose an arrow at the terrifying spectre. Your arrow streaks through the divining dragon's glowing chest and continues soar on a broad arc that carries a shaft far above the tops of the surrounding trees. Only a split later, the massive phantasm shimmers brightly before suddenly disintegrating into a pool of silvery sparkles that rain down into the ground around you. You stifle a startled gasp as Ferendrans Fury suddenly trembles violently in your hands. A dazzling silver aura forms around the weapon, lasting for several moments before slowly fading. In the wake of the puzzling episode, you carefully examine the bow, certain that something about it seems somehow different. After concluding your examination of the bow, you make your way back around the front of Ferendrans Finger. Okay, what happened? That's interesting. What happened? Beyond epic is right. The ornate oakenstone bow long and faithfully served the master huntsman Ferendrans over his lifetime exploration across the vast breadth of untamed North Borderland wilds, able to augment itself using the magical industry of other enchanted bows. The Fury will automatically increase its bow quality to retain its status in the most powerful and capable bow in your possession. This weapon is truly worthy of envy. This bow will provide its wielder the special bonuses when a skill check against archery or random number selection involves archery is required. Cool. I don't know what happened, but it was interesting. As you make your way along the winding northeast branch of the well-worn path, the towering monument of Turlock appears in the distance, towering over the surrounding trees. After several minutes, the track opens into a wide clearing riddled with patches of wildflowers. At the center of the open span, perched atop a grand stone pedestal, is Turlock's monument, a gargantuan statue which uppermost features reaches truly dizzying height. The towering statue of Turlock, a monument erected to honor the famous adventurer, depicts him clad in vest of sorrows and several pieces of frigid-style armor, a full rainbow helm. Okay. Each of its ornate sides adorned with a trio of intricate glyphs covers his head, which is tilted slightly skyward. Turlock's eyes, visible through the helm's rising visor, betray a determined expression, exemplifying the fearless demeanor for which the adventure has long been known. His steel-wrapped hands both rest on the engraved pommel of the raven-bone longsword, and the blade of which is centered on the base of the monument between his feet. There's a mighty white oak surround the broad pedestal upon which the statue is perched. Staring at the impressive statue, you're immediately mindful of the many tales centered upon Turlock, an adventurer whose famous exploits are forever enshrined in the kingdom's lore. Examine the inscription. The inscription, carved along the bottom edge of one of the massive stone blocks supporting the towering statue, seemed to cryptically refer to a war awaiting anyone able to scale the 150-foot monument. Glancing up the dizzying heights which the statue soars, you begin to consider the very notion of such a climb. This always happens to me. You get to a statue, you're like, you should climb it, there's something good up there. Alright. Climbing the square base of the monument proves relatively simple, and after only a couple minutes you stand at the foot of the towering statue. Staring upward, you carefully examine the perilous endeavor you're about to undertake. The dangerous ascent would just be over 150 feet. Yep. And success. 30 feet. 50 feet. 60 feet. Halfway. We've done these climbs before, so I'm not going to read everything. Follow your way higher. Yeah. Come on. What? Now we're falling to our death. Split second before you slip off the statue, your hand snag onto an angular outcropping, abruptly halting your slide. Great effort, you pull yourself back onto the monument, thankful to have escaped the horrifying plunge into the open space. Yes, let's keep going. About you look and pull yourself. Yeah, we're at the head though. Come on. Bathed in sweat, your limbs aching, you hold yourself over the angled edge of the statue's head and come to rest atop Turlock's monument. After lying on your back for nearly a minute, staring up at the sky as you recover from the arduous climb, you turn to your feet and survey the impressive view afforded by the lofty vantage. From your perch atop the statue's head, just over 150 feet above the ground, you see far for over a dozen miles in all directions. The colourful landscape mosaic stretches to the horizon, forging a scene of true beauty that both inspires and exhilarates. Far below the tops of the trees that swarm the tangled heart of Darwin Vale, look like the moving sea of the green swaying at the whim of the wind that surges through the desolate wilds. As you warily make your way around the statue's broad head, taking care not to place your feet too close to the edge, peer down at the realm that seemed more peaceful than you've ever known it. Suddenly, it's my friend? Yep. Alerted by the movement to your feet, you whip your head in the direction, startled to find the tall man clad in a green tunic and grey cape, standing only a few feet away. A wide-brimmed leather hat covers his head, casting a deep shadow that largely obscures his slender face. Still climbing these things, he said, shaking his head. I'd hoped that someone would have dissuaded you from it by now. Falling off one of them might do it, but that's a rather grim thing to say. I apologise if I never said it. You say it every time, though. The stranger tosses a small cloth pouch that you discover contains a tiny raven-bone cube. Keep that safe. Not the pouch, mind you, the cube. If you manage to collect enough of those, something quite extraordinary will result from it. You inquire about the something quite extraordinary, but the man shrugs in response. I don't know any more about it. I suppose I'd be because no one is yet to collect enough of these little cues. You're on your way with them, though. Yeah, I am. The stranger waves his hand. The glowing blue glyph in the form of a griffin's silhouette appears directly in front of your feet. I think you already know, but this will get you back down the safest possible way. I can't always be around, mind you, so well, that will be that. Take care of yourself. With no particular reason to linger here, you bid the stranger farewell and step into the glyph. A dazzling flash of the blue light erupts from the glyph as you step on it, causing you to instinctively close your eyes and protect them from the intensity of the glow. Only a split second later, when your eyes spring open, you discover that you're once again standing on the ground next to the base of the monument. Okay. And then let's go over here. Moving on the well-worn southeast branch of the path, you begin to catch a glimpse of Gradaculo's monument through the trees. At last, the track ends at the edge of the broad meadow, at the center of which stands a massive statue of the famous Ventral perched on top of an ornate stone base. The grand monument stretches up into the sky, far exceeding the height of the trees that surround it. The monument of Gradaculo soars to the astounding height, its uppermost features seemingly scraping the clouds. Cloud with fabled obsidian plate, clutching its fire and blood shield, brandishing his legendary spear, fire and blood justice. The famous adventurer is standing in a combat-ready stance, his carved expression one of grim defiance. Swirling around from behind him, partially covering the lower half of his shield, is a grand titan's cape. A ring of granite obelisk, each just over 10 feet tall, ring the massive pedestal atop which the monument proudly stands. Staring at the towering statue, reminded of the many adventure stories involving Gradaculo, a man whose legend throughout the kingdom continues to grow. The inscription carved at the base is on one of the massive stone blocks supporting the tower statue, seems to cryptically refer to the reward awaiting anyone able to scale. Yep, we're going. One of these times we're gonna die. No, I'm barely off the ground there. 50 feet, 60 feet, 70, halfway there. Yeah, I'm at the neck. Oh my gosh. Keep going. What? You're not gonna let me get to the top of this? I'm up. Yay. Well, it's gonna be the same thing. So I'm not gonna reread it. I'm gonna find our guy here. Yep, I'm still climbing these things, and he's gonna give me... I'm well on my way. Thank you so much. And let's leave. Well, I didn't see anything to do there. And there probably is something, and somebody will tell me. But yeah, we're gonna keep going to eastern and southeast. And see what else then we can do. Try to keep up with this Crimson Helm Rider. Like, I just forgot yesterday. Like, yesterday came and went so fast. The whole week has gone so fast. But, hey, thanks for hanging on and joining me. Until next time, you know what I'm gonna say. Peace.